Hi.
Hey,
I've been working on the same migration of the SQL Server implementation on backend services to Azure storage tables and Azure Service Bus for like 4 weeks now. I'm still not done. That's my
but
status.
but you're an Azure service everything expert now, right?
Uh, no, but I think I could maintain an intelligent conversation about Azure storage tables, Azure Service Bus, and Azure just HTTP post and get. So
Well, then you're an expert.
I have plenty of examples that I could reference moving forward.
Well, cool. Sorry about being late today, by the way. So that was
Well, I don't think we really agreed on Sunday. I thought you kind of said like, oh,
let
it
you
may
know
be
Saturday.
it may
Yeah,
be possible to do Sunday.
yeah. I had the intention to. I just it was a long day of travel yesterday, so um, we finally got home at like nine o'clock or whatever, and then the kids were up still, so it was a really long day. So, but yeah, I saw your message this morning, and I was like, oh crap,
Um,
forgot.
no, that's
I feel bad. So, but I'm here. so, so what snags have you run into now with that Azure Service Bus thing, or is it just a long process?
oh, it's just like a different paradigm when you're writing code for a NoSQL implementation. Like you get stuck in this relational database paradigm of okay, here's my primary key, here's how things are supposed to relate to one another, here's my junction table, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like using a value key store or a key value store, it's just it's just different, and you just don't use that same paradigm. I would say is very similar to the the paradigm shift of learning functional programming when you have 15 years of object oriented programming experience. Like you take forever even trying to ask the question that you want to ask just because you're stuck in this box that this is everything you ever knew.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's a lot easier for people that have no SQL experience to just get up and running versus me being programmed by my past experiences using the relational model for data persistence and retrieval.
Yeah,
So that's it.
I wonder if people who learn NoSQL first have the same problem going to relational databases. I could imagine they do.
Well, I mean, it's still alien to learn like relational databases, right? Like you remember like yeah, first, second, third form or whatever that stuff is called when it comes to like normalization. Um, so there's still like a process you have to go through in order to have your mind wrap around a relational data model. So I mean, you don't have to do a relational data model. You could just duplicate data all over the place,
Mm-hmm.
which I would argue is NoSQL. You're just doing it in SQL Server or some other vendor technology.
Yeah. Have you ever mixed the relational and NoSQL concepts together? Done a mashup with that?
You talking about like for a given solution?
Yeah, yeah. Basically,
Um,
you
so I
just
mean,
have a key, a primary key, and then a table that accepts a blob.
no, this is my intro to NoSQL, and the the answer is no. But if I were to elaborate on it, it would be because I don't have enough complex queries to write in order to generate some arbitrary report. If if there was a requirement where I had to generate some type of report that that was based on several different disparate relationships, then and I had enough of those types of relationships that I needed to model as a report, then yeah, it would be a high likelihood. The deciding factor is cost. Well, this deciding factor is first political, hence me stamping Azure, 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 sprinkling all over my resume for both HR and the algorithms that are executed to present to HR. But then the second, after political motivation, is the cost of doing business, right? So your SQL Server is still going to be expensive for a relational, I don't know, vendor technology, and I just think it's probably significantly cheaper, just in general, to use the Azure tables, which is a key value store instead, versus uh, obtaining a license to SQL Server. So those were the two motivating factors:
Cool.
politics and money. But
Gotcha. So, how far do you have left, do you think, then, before you get a working end-to-end working thing up?
let's see. 4 weeks ago, I said I'll have it done over the weekend. um, well, you said end to end. I still haven't even started on the two financial transaction gateways. One for putting money on a bank card to purchase from a restaurant or a store, and the other one to actually put money on a bank card to pay couriers. I don't know, say probably 6 weeks. So a lot of the stuff, remind you, has already been implemented using the relational model, except for the latest, payment stuff.
Sure.
So now just porting that stuff over to Azure. Um, yeah, I guess this would be called a plateau, because it's like I'm literally like dragging myself to my computer and like trying to maintain an hour in the morning and an hour in the evening of just writing code and trying to establish connections between my various clients and my various servers. It's really boring. I'm just trying to make it's like lifting weights. I'm just trying to maintain just enough to hopefully get through this. And then hopefully I'll get excited when something new becomes visible as a result.
Well, maybe you should, instead of doing it split over many days, just take a day and do a 6-hour block and get it all done, and then and not spread that over 3 days or whatever, for a week.
Oh, I mean that would have to be on the weekend because I do work. Um, nah, I'm not going to do that. I
How's
mean,
your interview go, or have you done that yet?
this morning I put in like 3 hours. I worked from like 6:30 in the morning to 9:30, um, and it was torture because I'm keeping track of all these different services per client application, and so like it just I'm sure there's easier ways for me to do it. I'm just pushing through it. That's all I'm doing is just pushing through it. What was your last question?
I said, how did your interview go, or did that not happen yet?
No, I had it. It went well. It's they flew me in. They gave me a driver that drove me to my hotel the day of the interview. The recruiter took me out to eat. Then I had face to face with the tribunal I think that went relatively well. They didn't like my joke though. Um,
Oh no.
they they didn't like my joke at all. They didn't laugh. They told me to explain um, how some like security type bonds will work, and so I had I had actually watched the cartoon that morning just to prep, just in case they would ask me about their business model and how things work in reality. And so I used the character name Tyrone, and I explained how Tyrone would use the service, based on the various ceremonies that he would have to go through with the different service providers. And
Mhm.
then I was like, now Tyrone isn't the only one. There could be hundreds, thousands, millions of people just like Tyrone. And in the ideal world, everybody would be satisfied, both the borrowers as well as the various banks. But I mean, let's be real. With a name like Tyrone, he's probably going to default, right? And so I started laughing, and they just looked at me.
Jeez. Oh man.
Yeah,
Gosh. Yeah, if I would have a guy like me would have tell that joke, it would be an immediate we'll see you later. That's what my dad would always joke about. It's like if you really just wanted to bomb an interview the worst way possible, like just he would say, if they ask you what's your weaknesses, he would be like, just say, I don't have any weaknesses. All of my weaknesses are caused by the Jews. And then and you would just boom. uh,
yeah.
yeah.
So
I never used that ever because I never had an interview that I didn't want to take. But no, I wouldn't use that anyways. That's bad. I always thought it was funny because it would be a guaranteed ticket out. I guess unless you're setting up to be like the web designer for the national white, you know,
oh, the Aryan race,
races. Yeah,
Aryan Brotherhood.
yeah, yeah. So
No, when I say that they did not laugh, they did not laugh.
yeah.
Like it was funny. Like it made me laugh even more.
uh,
But I think it went well. But it doesn't really matter what I think. I've been in enough interviews where I feel like I've done very well, and I still get passed on, and I'm like, all right, whatever. I have to remind myself I'm dealing with human beings. So at times, human beings could be irrational when it comes to decision making, and it has
mhm.
nothing to do with skill. Um, so I just try to remind myself of that, so I don't get my hopes up, and I maintain a pessimistic attitude.
Yeah, you look like you've got a thousand yard stare going on.
Uh, that's
Well, yeah. When will they let you know by, or will
mm,
they?
well, they claim by mid next week they'll notify me.
Hmm.
So, I mean, they rolled out the red carpet for me when I was there. So, I mean, I think they could have easily spent probably they could have easily spent maybe $800 to interview me based on all the special things that they did between
Cool.
flying me, putting me up in a nice hotel, driving me back and forth. They paid for a tour guide for an
Hmm.
hour and a half. Yeah,
Wow, ritzy place.
yeah. I feel like they were trying to sell me on their location, even though the agreement is that I would be working remote, but I would with occasion or periodic on site, and
Hmm.
and I just assume I'll probably be doing 4 to 6 weeks on site, just onboarding.
Yep.
So
Oh, cool.
yeah, yeah. I think after like maybe 2 or 3 years, I think I'll be in a position. Let's say if they did hire me and everything went well, like the goal of my career professionally outside of entrepreneurship is to graduate to Wall Street and make Wall Street money working on trading platforms, and then I could bow out and be content. So
Cool.
that's a goal.
Cool.
You find your
Nah.
next project yet?
Uh, I don't know. I'm really, gosh, my latest thing I've been considering is getting into streaming and just putting in like an hour stream a night or something like that.
You talking about
Um,
playing video games or what?
yeah, yeah, with gaming, just a very specific sub niche of playing this particular character I play in this game, and then having a different beer every week or something, and having a beer and playing a game. That would be my stream. Beer.
What does the beer have to do with the game?
I don't know. Just I don't just to I don't know, something else to add in. So it's kind of just a niche mix up, I guess.
Well, if you're going to do it, you got to go full throttle, right? So, F beer, you drink a pint of whatever liquor each week. It'll be like it'll be analogous to drunk history. You ever watch that?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Now there, you might be dropping f bombs and blaming Jews for your problems.
I wouldn't do that. No, I still have some common sense even when I'm drinking. And I guess it's not my mode to blame other nationalities or races for my problems. So,
I only said that because you used that as a joke earlier for
yeah, yeah,
the interview.
yeah. Oof, though that would be pretty bad. No, no, beer just because people are still into craft beer and stuff, so it's just kind of a mix in type thing to be like, well, why would you watch me play League of Legends when you could watch any of 100 streamers? Well, I'm the guy who also has a different beer that they talk about or something every time. So not every time, every week. So
I'm not a fan of that idea.
yeah, I don't know, man. I don't. Yeah, I still am just. I don't know. I have to figure out why my computer keeps bombing out every so often on the game before I could even start that thing, because I wouldn't want to be in the middle of a stream and have to fire up that in addition to fire up the game. But
How do I remove this huge banner on
I don't know.
this?
I've got that thing too. StreamYard live viewer comments show up on StreamYard, right? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
The
How
duck.
do I? That's annoying.
Let me check.
Maybe that's why I keep looking away from the screen. That's annoying.
Huh. There's individual boxes for each of us. Let's see. Where would that be?
So click the comment. Oh, okay, I got it. I removed it.
Oh, I was looking at. I was just gonna try to hide it in my by digging into the HTML and deleting the element, but you took care of it. So
Oh, this weekend's the MLK ride out. I'm trying to restrain myself from observing it.
why?
You know what the MLK ride out is?
I'm guessing it's a Martin Luther King Jr. bike, like motorcycle ride.
motorbikes, ATVs, motorcycles. It's like running with the bulls, except it's cops, and they do it annually.
So they just get a bunch of people together, do a bike run, and wait for the cops to show up. And
It's East Coast, Midwest, and down south. They do a pilgrimage to Miami for the weekend up until Monday, and they just do hood rat things.
hmm,
And you'll see. I mean, I saw a chopper yesterday when I was coming home. They'll deploy, you know, maybe 2 to 3 different choppers at a given time because there's different patches of bikers throughout the city, and they have tactical squads or tactical teams hopping out of vans, tackling people and throwing them in paddy wagons. It's annual, and so like my stuff is legit, right? But
hmm,
you'll be guilty by association if you get caught up with them,
hmm,
because at the end of the day, they probably just have a quota, and so they'll lie through their teeth and say that you were doing something that you didn't do, but because you're with a given 100 or 200 other people, um, the judge is not going to believe you whatsoever. So, as I said, I'm struggling not to observe it because it's exhilarating. If that's is that a good word to use?
yeah,
Or
yeah, I think
yeah,
so.
exhilarating.
Yeah, I mean, if you get a rush from it,
It's an adrenaline rush. You got the ghetto bird overhead. You got cops trying to. Oh yeah, and there's like I don't think last year they had any fatalities, but my first year doing it, there was like 4 fatalities, and it's weird because you'll see someone like I remember seeing this one dude at the gas station pumping gas right next to me, and then he died like 3 hours later.
wow,
Like yeah, and he was like a 17-year-old.
oof.
This is Miami, man. It's a third world country.
Yeah, that's a risk I would probably not end up taking.
Oh, you have dependents, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I suppose while you're young and single, no, without kids. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, it's I don't know. I guess I can really mess with other things though. If you get arrested and all that stuff.
Yeah, I don't have any felonies. I plan on keeping that. It's a good record to have, to be felonyless.
Yeah,
Isn't it supposed to be software development? You completely destroyed the topic. All right, so you retired from writing code on your off time. You want to drink beer and play and stream League of Legends.
yeah. I just want to drink beer and play games all day. That would just be awesome. No, I don't know, man. I still I still want to get to do something. It's just the muse is just not hitting me in any way, shape, or form for what I want to work towards. So
What is it about League of Legends that's so addictive to you?
um it's the competitive nature of the whole thing. Um I know people. I know a lot of people actually who get into any sort of competitive game, and it's a type of game where you have to stick with it for a while to become any good at it. And so they'll kind of drop off really quick, and it's not really fun. But for me, that competitive, there's something about that competitive nature of it that really gets me, excited. Not only competitive against other people, but competitive in terms of I can see progression within myself on it, so I can seek to become better at it. I guess that yeah, I don't know.
I
I'm
used to
sure
be
that they yeah.
I used to be an addict to Halo Wars on the
Hmm.
console, and I got really good. You know when you're good is when you start getting racist hate mail. I got really good because I would have these strategies where, like, I assume you're not familiar with Halo Wars, but it's like a
Well, I know
real,
what it is.
yeah,
I
it's a
haven't
real
played
time
it, but
strategy.
yeah.
So, like, my strategy was as soon as the game starts, I deploy like this. It's called an elephant, but it's essentially a armored transport vehicle. Before I even had any soldiers, I would automatically just start the building or the deployment of this elephant, and I would have like approximately 45 seconds before the elephant would get to the base. And by the time it got to the base, I'll probably have like 250 different credits in my economy, and then I would start cranking out soldiers while they're still trying to get their base up and running, and I would just do a quick rush. I assume there's rush strategy and everything, rush, turtle, etc. Is there
Oh,
some?
in real time strategies, there is those. So I used to play Age of Empires 2 a lot, even in recent years, and that was made by the same studio, Ensemble Studios, who made Halo Wars. It was one that kind of really, well, Age of Empires kind of put them on the map. Um, but they had the same strategies there, turtle in or rush, early rushes and stuff like that. Gold
Mhm.
rush, castle rush. I would do castle rush myself a lot. I would try to get to castle as fast as possible and then continue to pump out units. So that's where my strategy lived. But yeah. So I different game, but same kind of. I mean, it's a real time strategy game, so it's kind of concepts
The
covered.
thing is if my rush failed, it just meant that the game more than likely would last more than an hour. That's all it meant. Either I could hurry up and rush and not, which meant that I wouldn't focus on my own defenses. I would
Mm-hmm.
just focus on while I'm rushing, pump, 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 and make them waste their money on defenses that I destroy, and they just keep on creating new defenses that I destroy, and I completely like get them out the game. So I would either do singles or 2-on-2, also 3-on-3. But I got really good. It's just a shame that that game wasn't more mainstream. I guess it's not cool to play real time strategy games on the console.
Yeah, well, it was that was one of their goals was to try to get a because there had never been really a successful real time strategy on console, and Halo Wars is I think the most successful one. I think they're coming out with a sequel here.
They already had a sequel. It didn't do anything. You can't even play online. There's no one on there. I tried.
Yeah,
Like
I
people
thought it was
love the
even more
first one.
recent. I thought they were doing another one, but maybe that was.
It bombed. Halo Wars 2 bombed.
Oh, I see. Yeah, and that was in 2017. Huh.
Yeah. I mean, you couldn't get online. If you did get online, you were the only person online. It bombed.
Oof. Yeah, I'd so I used to play Age of Empires 2 way, 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 way back, in like the late, would have been early 2000s, I guess. That's not super way, way back, but this game literally played on a Pentium 1 processor, like 166 megahertz processor, right? And we played some games where we had a guy on a 166 Pentium 1 processor. I think it was 166. Anyways, um, but they it was such a popular game and it had a good following that Microsoft sold off the rights to a company to rebuild it, and so they put it on Steam and made it so it was HD and did a bunch of upgrades to it and stuff like that, and started adding in additional content for the game to play. So they made it so I could play that game again. It was a lot of fun. Same thing though. It's a bunch of competitive. It's competitive. Uh, it's a competitive thing. You're really you're not fighting against the computer or something that you know how to beat. It's not just twitch maneuver whatever. There's strategy to it. Um, there's definitely a skill progression. So I don't know. I don't know, but same thing. We used to do touch football on Tuesday nights at my old job. And that's another one where I'd get out there and that would motivate me to try to be better at it, and I'd want to you know I'd really want to get better at it because it's something competitive. Competitive things kind of flip something in my brain, I guess. So, but League is kind of that way, I suppose. Just
I
fuels that.
trying to connect with another developer. I'm trying to convince him to build something that'll rely on the platform that I'm building. I doubt if I succeed at that,
Hmm.
but essentially get someone that is driven to convince them to say, hey, by the time you decide to build something that deals with this domain of logistics and order fulfillment, whatever that is, I'll have my piece done. So I already have the back end done for you. You just plug into mine, right? And you make your money. I'll just take a small percentage. That's what I'm trying to convince them to do. We haven't had our official conversation about that yet. We keep on postponing our discussion on Twitter. So,
Yeah, I mean, I think that would be a good strategy for you if you don't want to do the business development part of the startup, is just to either find someone who wants to use the technology and either sell it or lease it, or find a business partner that wants to do the business development aspect of it, and then you do the technical side of it. But
how do you even vet someone to do that? Majority of people they'll just say yeah, and that's it. Like you don't get anything out of them.
yeah, find a really driven MBA student at a college, someone who doesn't have any attachments or whatever, hasn't been soiled by the.
What does that sound?
Sorry, yeah, my dog.
Oh,
One
I
sec.
thought it
I'm
was
just
like a
gonna.
copier or something, or a fax.
No, he's scratching at the door. 1 second. Come on.
He was outside the door. The dog was outside the door.
Yeah, he was scratching at it. Here, come here. Oh, that's not. Oh, you're jealous now. Yeah, both of my dogs are sitting out there. I think he likes to come in here because I turn on a space heater, my little one,
Mm-hmm.
and he likes to sit next to that and keep warm. So I don't know why dogs. There's 3 people upstairs readily available there. They want to come down and hang with me for some reason. So I don't know what the deal is.
I needed to pick mine up. She's been in Cleveland since Christmas.
Oof. Probably missing the warm Miami sun.
Yeah, I'm starting to miss her. So,
But yeah, what were we talking about? Oh yeah. So yeah, I don't know. You could, I mean, like I said, you could try to find someone who's an MBA student or something that's driven, and go that route. But
I could, if and when this fails, I do have enough experience, and I could generate content and write a book on those types of books from where these technical books actually take you through building something from nothing. I could do that.
sure.
I feel like I'll be cursed because that would probably take me like a year and a half to write using current technologies. That would be like, may not be obsolete. It just won't be the newest thing 2 years from now.
Yeah. Yeah, if you can abstract, use abstract terms and things like that, so it's more of an evergreen type deal. That's good. But yeah, that's the trick about writing technical books in general, is you got to write them fast enough before the technology becomes no longer used or exciting or whatever. But
The thing
yeah,
is, F sharp is only going to grow. Um, I think I don't know about Azure, man. I mean, I know Azure's going to be here for a while, but I don't know if the specific tools that I'm using in Azure are going to be here 3 years from now. If they're still going to be the preferred approach to for data persistence and retrieval.
Yeah, well, they keep adding on new services and obsoleting old ones. You might be right. So
The book is too expensive. I think I would have to do videos.
yeah, I guess it
Uh,
depends too on how versed on writing you are, and how like for me writing, it takes, I got to write a blog post, but it will take me an entire day to
yeah,
do. It's tough.
it's the
So
same with me. I mean, like my blog posts now, they're just brain dumps.
yeah,
That's all they are, and it's really just for me in case I need to refer to it in 6 months or a year. But I've probably written maybe out of probably 150 different posts on WordPress, I may have three of them that are like essays. The majority of them
mm-hmm.
are just take the information in my head.
Plop it
That's
down
it.
and go.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Courses, video is a little easier, but you still have to. It can be tough though, because you have to. If you don't want to waste people's time, you have to get the the timing down for videos and stuff like that. So if you record a if you're recording a an over screen share or whatever, and you know you don't want to screw up in the middle of it. So if you record that, then you have to do a voiceover on it, and it's, if you don't get that just right, you have to restart the audio stream, or patch together stuff. There's a science to it. I don't. It's something that takes practice to do, but if you can get there, it's, video courses can be pretty lucrative, I guess. But
Yeah, let's be a conference speaker. But I feel like if you're going to be a conference speaker that's like invited, like repeatedly invited, I feel like you have to be a published author. I think.
yeah,
I tried to get
yeah,
on. I tried to get on software engineering radio podcast, and they told me no because I'm not a published author. I'm like, oh, okay. I guess that makes sense.
oof.
So, yeah, man.
Well, you
So,
could become a published author. You could self-publish a small book on Amazon in 5 minutes and be like, "Yeah, I am. Here's my book, loose loose blog post by Scott Nimrod, a book,
brain dumps, 100
brain
of my
dumps.
brain dumps.
Yeah, chapter one, uh, playing chess with F sharp.
Have you been following John Sondas?
I haven't followed much since his little
Debacle?
tiff on yeah. So everything's kind of quieted down.
He's back to doing Simple Programmer again as a separate channel.
Yeah, I know he purchased back the rights to Simple Programmer or whatever.
He sold it.
No, he bought out his partner share or whatever. What's his name? The other guy that's on. Oh God, I don't even remember his name. Is it Josh? The other
Your
guy
dogs
on.
fighting each other?
Huh?
Are your dogs fighting each other?
No, your dog ever scratch the ground to try to make a bed?
Not the ground, but like sheets. Yeah,
Sheets? Yeah, well, he's digging on the carpet right now, trying to make a
nest.
nest. Yeah, he's just going to town on it. Just nope.
My,
There you go. He finally quit.
my dog goes hard at the beach. She'll dig her foxholes, and she just turns into an animal. At home, she acts like a human being, right? She rolls her eyes at you if you ask her to come here and stuff like that. At the beach, she starts digging her foxhole, and it's like she doesn't understand any commands. If you mess with her, she'll growl. It's pretty serious. So that's it.
Hmm.
I'm tapping out, man. I'm spacing out. It's Sunday morning.
Yeah.
I want to do
Yeah.
hood rat things. So
Sounds good.
if you don't
Yeah.
hear
Probably
from me
going.
Friday, I probably haven't made bail yet. So
That sounds good. I'll remember that. I'm all off too. I just being in Vegas for the last 4 days.
can I ask how much you lost?
Sure. Yeah. We lost maybe only like 200, maybe 250 at most. Maybe less than that. Maybe it was only 200.
I thought you were competitive.
But yeah, but competitive involves a skill enhancement. I guess unless I was getting into blackjack, there isn't really, or poker, there really isn't much of that in Vegas. The house always wins. So
You still have the tables memorized for blackjack?
no, I don't play. I've never really played blackjack or poker really. I could
You,
probably get into it, but I just haven't.
you know I used to go hard at blackjack. Like
Yeah.
yeah, I it was so bad when I was at a casino. I was determined that I wouldn't leave until I had like a motorcycle. Like meaning that once I've won like $7,000, then I could leave. And I just remember I was on a winning streak one time, and I was going to the casino close to 2 weeks straight, and I didn't want to report more earnings, and so I used to like throw money in my kitchen cabinets and put them in like cereal boxes. I would just have stacks and stacks of 20s, 50s, and 100s from like 2 weeks worth of crossing state lines into West Virginia, just getting it. I felt like a dope dealer, man. I was playing what's his name, Gucci Man at the Trap House. Like I was getting it, and then I lost like $5,000 between Niagara Falls Casino and what's it called, the Mountaineer in West Virginia. I was going every day, driving an hour and a half every day after work, after my 9 to 5.
Damn.
Uh,
Yeah, I basically just played roulette most of the time.
oh, that's pure chance. You can't. You don't even have power over that.
Yeah, I know. It feels a little bit more like you're in control though, compared to slots and stuff like that. So there are some progressions and stuff with roulette if you have a biased wheel or whatever too that can you can affect. But yeah, it's I know, but
I would play two hands at a time, and if they let me, like at like churches, casinos, which is kind of an oxymoron, right? A church would have a fundraiser casino.
yeah.
I'll play three hands at a time. People will be like, "Oh, can I get in?" I'm like, "Nope." I'll be so serious.
Hmm.
So, all right. Well, I guess I'm
Cool.
tapping out. It's
All
been
right. Yep. We'll talk to you Friday unless you're in jail. So
okay. See ya.
all right.
Yeah.
See ya.
And,